Kyle Busch isn't happy with his 2023 options. F1 silly season heats up. Another team jumps the gun on a driver announcement that didn't really happen. Dale Jr. is back behind the wheel of a race car this month. And NASCAR finally has an answer for F1's Drive to Survive. Kinda. Strap in, gearheads. This is Shifting Gears. I'm Alan Bailey, and before we get started, make sure you smash the subscribe button to stay up to date on the latest videos, and log on to AmericanRacingNetwork.com for the latest on these stories. Kyle Busch said Saturday he's willing to re-sign for under his market value in the NASCAR Cup Series free agent market, adding that there is a lot of sleepless nights as contract negotiations have crept along.
I'm willing to take concessions. I feel like the market is different than what it was years ago, and willing to race for under my market value. So whatever that comes to be, obviously it's a negotiation and figuring out where I go and what the long-term play is, what the short-term play is, and hopefully not being able to go through this again.
Word on the street is that Kyle isn't impressed with Stewart-Haas Racing and Ford and wants to stay with Toyota and Gibbs, but how much of a pay cut is he willing to take? Will Kurt Busch be back in 2023 or be forced into early retirement? Will Ty Gibbs take over the 18? Kyle Busch may be slotting on over to the number 45 at 23:11. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. A NASCAR executive said on Tuesday that it was clear that Ross Chastain committed a violation at the end of last weekend's Cup race at the Indianapolis road course, but series officials are looking at different ways they can issue the penalty quicker to avoid a situation where a car that has committed the infraction is racing for the lead. Yeah, NASCAR dropped the ball on this one, and NASCAR's Vice President of Officiating and Technical Inspection, Elton Sawyer, said this on Sirius XM NASCAR Radio.
It's right in there that if you cut off a significant amount of the race course, then there will be a penalty. And if it's at the end of the race, then it will be 30 seconds. So all of those bullet points, if you will, were well communicated to the industry, to the garage, to the drivers. So what happened at the end there, obviously the restart, and they go off into turn one, they get 4 or 5 wide, and Ross, you can go back and look through the optics of it, but you can also look at the data that supports he really accelerated. He didn't decel. He accelerated to go through the runoff area there. And again, we've explained it and felt like we explained it really well on what you can and you can't do and what we expect of from the track limits. Again, you can't cut a significant amount of the course off and gain an advantage. When Ross came back out, he's side by side with the leader, and they went off in the corner, and he's 5th. So, I mean, just simply put, you can't do that. That area is there for the reason that if you get in a bad spot and you can't make the turn, i.e. you've had a brake failure, you've got in there too hot for whatever reason, and you can run off there, but that's not to be used to gain an advantage.
So now the NASCAR Brain Trust will meet for hours and hours before changing nothing until they eventually pick somebody to make the call in the moment during a race. Almost like a race director. Huh. Crazy. Two-time world champion Fernando Alonso will join Aston Martin in 2023 and beyond. The 41-year-old Spaniard will replace Sebastian Vettel, who announced his retirement last week. Aston Martin said Monday that they signed Alonso to a multi-year deal, and the F1 silly season continues to heat up. Who do you think is going to be in the Alpine in 2023? Let me know in the comments down below. One guy that won't be in one of the Alphas next year is Oscar Piastri, who said Tuesday that he won't drive for them next season, mere hours after the Formula One team promoted the Australian reserve driver to replace Fernando Alonso. It's actually the second driver in 3 weeks that was announced to a ride that they didn't actually sign up for in 2023, with more misleading quotes, and we all know how that one ended up, so the saga will continue. NASCAR Xfinity Series regular Austin Hill is getting ready to take over the 8 RCR Cup car in 2023. is scheduled to make his Cup Series debut in Richard Childress Racing's number 33 Chevrolet Sunday at Michigan. Totally unrelated to Tyler Reddick leaving the team after 2023. Why do you ask? Oh yeah, because Richard Childress said this Sunday after Tyler Reddick won at Indianapolis.
So I went in the next day and told the whole team it wasn't a perfect circumstance, the way it went down, but we're going to give it everything we've got for this year, and we'll see where we go next year.
And thank goodness we actually had good reporters at the Speedway to follow up and ask point blank.
Nate Ryan, NBC Sports. Richard, going back to your first answer, if I've got this right, I think you said we're going to give it everything we've got this year, and we'll see what we get next year. Are you guys still figuring out 2024 with the 8 and Tyler?
Do what? Excuse me.
Are you still figuring out if Tyler will be in the 8 next year?
Tyler will be in the car at RCR next year.
So the real question is does Tyler Reddick return in 2023 to the number 8 RCR Cup car, or does RCR drop him into the Xfinity Series for a season as a giant middle finger to the guy for giving them a year and a half to find a new driver for that car? And if Reddick doesn't return, who is in the 8 car, and where does Reddick end up in 2023? Let me know in the comments down below. It's official, Dale Earnhardt Jr. has new merch! And also he's going to be one of the late model competitors at North Wilkesboro Speedway later this month. Jr. is dusting off the famed number 3 and reuniting with iconic soda Sundrop. Since when is Sundrop an iconic? Dale Jr. is going to be driving a throwback tribute car to the late model he drove at North Wilkesboro in 1993. And yes, the merch is already here, and yes, it's already selling out fast. In his defense, it's a really good-looking car. Row Motorsports announced Tuesday that the organization has abandoned its plans to appeal the Level 2 penalty leveled against its number 34 Ford team, along with this statement. After further assessing penalties levied against its number 34 Cup Series team, Row Motorsports has notified NASCAR that it will drop its appeal and accept the penalty. The team has made internal changes in its build practices to ensure the issue leading to the penalties will not happen again in the future. Lead engineer Chris Yargis will serve as the interim crew chief for the number 34 beginning this weekend at Michigan. The 100-point penalty handed down on July 26 to both driver Michael McDowell and team owner Bob Jenkins in their respective Cup Series standings will now stand. The 4-race suspension for Blake Harris will go into effect beginning this weekend at Michigan. Beginning in 2023, motorcycle racing will crown a new champion with the announcement of a partnership between Field Motorsports and MX Sports Pro Racing to form the Super Motocross World Championship. The purse for its championship will award $10 million in prize money, making it the richest payout for either sanctioning body. The first championship will end on October 14th, 2023 at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, stretching the combined seasons from January through October. And I, for one, can't wait. Petty GMS Racing and Eric Jones have agreed to a multi-year contract extension to keep Jones in the number 43 Chevrolet. Now, rumor has it that Noah Gragson will be taking over the team's number 42 car that Ty Dillon is currently wrecking in the Cup Series. Dillon was fired only 7 months after getting hired, and we're sure Dillon's daddy had nothing to do with him getting the ride in the first place at all. NASCAR finally has an answer for F1 and Netflix's Drive to Survive, a new docuseries called Race for the Championship, our original. It's going to be premiering on Thursday, September 1st at 10 p.m. Eastern on USA. Blah. Because everyone under the age of 55 is totally watching the Law & Order channel. Hopefully NASCAR and NBC can move the series to Peacock or another streaming service to find a younger audience, but for now, the series is only going to be on TNT. Yikes. As AJ Allmendinger celebrated his Indianapolis Xfinity win, Brett Moffitt climbed from his number 02 R Motorsports Chevrolet, wondering when his next race might be. Moffitt still managed to smile a little bit when asked about his plans for the remainder of the 2022 season, but currently there are no plans, as Brett Moffitt lost his ride at R Motorsports because he didn't bring significant sponsor money to the table. Now, they announced that it's a mutual, but let's be honest here, Moffitt got sacked. He He made 80 starts for the team, including 21 top 10 finishes, but no victories, and a replacement driver for the team's number 02 will be named in the near future, but expect some Cup guys to maybe get in that car if they can pay for it. Right, Austin Dillon? For these stories and more, log on to AmericanRacingNetwork.com to keep up on all the latest motorsports news you need to know. ARN, the Motorsports Authority. Thank you so much for watching. For Shifting Gears number 128, I'm Alan Bailey. We'll see you at the track.